Cool. Marcus Johnson taped on light. Cool segment there. We're gonna roll over to the other NFL stuff we had going on today, but always good to talk a little Raiders here. That was basically Raider fans. That was your silver lining as far as that goes. We got a full half an hour there as far as that is. We have some love-hate teams we're gonna go over real quick. Let's start with the Saints. Let's roll with the Saints first. I think we kind of spoke about it a little bit. I like the head coach. I like the setup here. I'm not sure do you really feel like we spoke about having maybe something with Marcus Mariota and Derek Carr, like having like a little bit like a tandem, like maybe like some packages. The Saints are definitely going to have a package for Taysom Hill. We know that already. But as far as like the every down quarterback, I think I don't know about anybody else, but I just feel like this is a great opportunity for. I know people like look at him eating W's and want to make jokes about what happened at Florida State, but really the physical ability of playing quarterback in National Football League with the pieces he has around him, Mike Williams, Smith. They got a great running tandem there as well with Alvin Kamara. Your thoughts about the quarterback position with the Saints? Because I think this is a great opportunity for Jameis Winston.
I agree with you. I think this is Jameis Winston's job. He has the natural arm talent. He's a way better passer in practice. Sean Payton's going to see that. He's been in the system. This is year 2. Yeah. So that's big. He can just do more from the quarterback position to take advantage of certain defenses than Taysom Hill can. Taysom Hill's going to come in and he's going to run the read option and he's going to throw a very simple set of plays out there. He's not going to be able to do what Jameis can do. As long as Jameis doesn't turn over the football at a high rate, I'm not going to say at a low rate. I mean, he could still throw, 13, 14, 15 interceptions because he's going to throw 30 touchdowns in this offense. And I think this offense is going to be much better for him. It's not the risk it, no biscuit or whatever the offense was of Bruce Arians, where he's throwing go routes and deep seam routes and 20-yard outs and comebacks. He's not doing that in New Orleans. They're going to throw a lot of intermediate stuff. So as long as his accuracy can hold up, because he's going to have a really good offensive line. I think the thing I like most about this team is the offensive line.
Yes.
They have 2 Pro Bowl tackles. They have a Pro Bowl guard. They had a rookie center last year or 2 years ago that was good, and they took a rookie last year in the first round from Michigan and Ruiz that played well. So those 5 up front, it's a top 3 offensive line in the NFL, in my opinion. And then the weapons he's going to have, that running back room is loaded with Kamara, Latavius Murray. They have Washington there. Ty Montgomery is a 4th option that can do a lot of things out of the backfield. I don't love the wide receivers on this team other than Michael Thomas. I mean, you're running out Traquan Smith, Marquez Callaway, Deontay Harris. There's not another big-time guy there. And losing Jared Cook as a tight end, their tight ends aren't dynamic at all. Now we're looking at Nick Barnett, Garrett Griffin. Troutman was a high 3rd-round pick, I think, in 2020 that has some potential, but there's not a ton of weapons outside. They're explosive. They got some guys that can run and go get it for Jameis, but they need Michael Thomas to stay healthy because if he goes down, they don't have anything on the outside that's going to scare defenses. And the other thing I like on this team, I like the corners. I like the guys they have out there. The defensive secondary specifically with Lattimore, Williams, and Jenkins. They took Paulson Adebo out of Stanford. They have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson back there, PJ Williams. So they've got some depth. Patrick Robinson at corner. I don't like the defensive tackles on this team, and I think David Onyemata is actually suspended. So you're looking at like Shai Tuttle, Ryan Glasgow, Malcolm Roach. Like those guys don't do anything for me. I don't like the linebacker depth either on this team. Zach Braun, Demario Davis, Pete Warner, the rookie, and behind that, they don't have a lot. So they're going to have to get pressure with the outside guys. That they do have some pass rushers. They have a good secondary. This is a very interesting team because I think, like I said, I think Jameis could put up 4,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, somewhere in the neighborhood of 13, 14 interceptions. They can be dangerous as a sneaky playoff team.
Yeah. They have a defensive tackle named Lorenzo Neal. Is that Lorenzo Neal's son?
That I don't know.
I mean,
Might
I'm
be
just
it.
saying,
It
it
would it
might
would
be.
fit. I mean,
It would
he's
fit,
been out
yeah.
of the league probably 20 years now.
Yeah, so it would fit perfectly fine. I think what they have to do is use this offensive line to control the game and maybe not play as fast paced as they did before with Drew Brees and just slow it down and and take their shots when they can because kind of be a more methodical offensive unit. I think that would help this team a lot because, like you said, they're going to get pushed around by some good offensive lines in its division. Like they're going to get pushed. I mean, like the Tampa's going to push them around on defense with their offensive line. So as that goes, but I do think they have an outside chance of the playoffs. I like the continuity of all their coaches are back, everybody's there. I'd have more trepidation if this was Jameis's first year, but the fact that they had him for 1 year and they re-up for another one, that to me makes me feel like, hey, Jameis has an opportunity to make some plays in this offense and make some plays down the road as far as that goes. That is New Orleans Saints. Let's go to New York and go to the Jets, the Jets, Jets. They take the quarterback, Zach Wilson. I think he's going to start from day one. They're not going to play games. They're just going to put him in there. They went to USC to get Vera Tucker, pick up another offensive weapon there, and Elijah Moore as well. So this is a team where this is going to be like what San Francisco West, right? They're going to run what Saleh did in San Francisco. They're also going to be a team that is going to run that Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shanahan defense as well, as far as that goes. So, what are your thoughts about the Jets going forward? Listen, this is really not about the Jets 2021. This is about the Jets 2023. In my mind, if they can build this team to be a tough squad and they can develop the quarterback, this could be a good building foundation year for the Jets.
Yeah, this is still a depleted roster. They're still at least 2 drafts away from being in contention to trying to be a playoff team. That's if Zach Wilson pans out. He's the quarterback. Who else do they have on this roster? James Morgan and Mike White. Like they don't have a veteran quarterback on this roster,
which is very interesting.
It is like they literally it's Zach Wilson from day one, and there's no one there to show him the ropes, which I do think is interesting. Like you mentioned. I do like some weapons on this team. Corey Davis came over from Tennessee. They have Denzel Mims, who can stay healthy. Jamison Crowder, Elijah Moore, the rookie. So there is some weapons on the outside. The 3 offensive linemen they've invested in, I like Becton. Barrett Tucker was a first rounder. Then bringing over Morgan Moses from Washington. Those are good pieces. So I think they're going to be able to protect him a little bit. He's got a chance to throw the ball to the outside. I don't know what they're going to do over the middle of the field. I don't like their tight ends. I don't like any of their running backs. So
do you like Michael Carter at all?
I do. I like Williams better, who's in Denver.
Yeah.
But Michael Carter, to me, he can come in. You're probably going to see a lot of Tevin Coleman that was in that offense in San Francisco. And then the guy last year from Florida, I think, is it LaMichael Perrine? Something like that. The big back they got out of Florida.
Yeah.
But this offense is going to struggle. They're going to be streaky. They're going to have chances where they can make plays down the field, and then they're going to have drives they're going to have a lot of 3 and outs, I think, because I don't know if they're going to run the ball. I don't know if they have a safety valve underneath. And Zach Wilson's going to be running for his life at times. I don't love the center or the right guard, so you're going to see teams stunt those guys.
It looks like go ahead. Go, sorry.
I was going to say, if one of those tackles goes down, I don't see a lot of depth back there. So this is going to be an interesting offense. I think there's going to be weeks where they're going to score in the mid to high 20s, and there's going to be weeks where they're scoring 14 to 17 points. You're just going to have struggles.
I just feel like this is a year where we're going to find out. There was maybe some questions about toughness. We're going to find out how tough Zach Wilson is, because he's going to get beat up a little bit too. You don't have a weapon. You don't have that. You don't have that. That offensive line. Yeah, but they're going to be down in a lot of games, and that pass rush is coming. You got some good defensive minds in that AFC East in Miami in Buffalo and in New England, all three defensive head coaches.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what I look at for him. We're gonna find out, like, that's one of the questions people had, like, is he like, can he? I mean, yeah, you can do stuff in his in BYU and run around and make a little throw in a workout. That's fine. Everybody's going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs for, but is he physically tough enough to take the beating? Because he's going to get beat up a little bit in this first year.
No, I agree with you. I think he's going to struggle. Those three defensive minds, that's 6 games. I don't know if he might win one of those.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're 1-5 in the division, unless there's some drastic injuries on those other teams. And then we haven't even talked about the defense. I don't even know who their cornerbacks are. Like, who's playing cornerback on this team? Do they have anybody?
And they're already lowballing Marcus May, which is like interesting that, like, about that of all the guys who you'd want to at least keep Marcus May if he wants to stay, which is kind of crazy to me. As far as that goes, I'm Carl Lawson. Why he went to this team, I have no clue. I know the money's good, but damn, like, I mean, this is a rebuilding team. I mean, you went from the Bengals to another rebuilding team. I'm sure if the money was anywhere equal, he could have probably went somewhere else and won some games, which is kind of crazy. But Salah's going to be, they're going to win 2-3 games this year, and then they're going to try to build and try that. But the whole thing is just like, if he can just get through this season, it's going to be a 20 INT season for him. He won't be on anybody's fantasy team, Zach Wilson. But at the very least, if they can just get through this year with him, I think they'll be okay. And then if he shows some promise, maybe some 300-yard games, stuff like that, then I think the Jets will be good to go as far as that goes.
No, definitely, this team is going to struggle this year.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be bad. I wish. Are the Raiders on the schedule this year for the Jets?
I don't think so. We play the Dolphins.
Usually we are. Then and now they're different. Now they're like terrible, and we can't get them on the schedule. Let's go.
Well, they were terrible last year, and they were on the schedule, and they took a Hail Mary at the end of the game, basically.
I that was a design play. I don't know what you're talking about.
Cover zero.
Cover zero. That's why I love Greg Williams. Thank you, Greg. Let's go to the Giants now. It's really interesting because I'm just going to look quickly at the roster. I mean, at the offensive roster. For Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Devontae Booker, good backfield. Let's just say Saquon is 85% after the injury. Then you go to the tight ends. I mean, with the tight end, you have Evan Ingram and you have Kyle Rudolph. Decent tight end room.
Fair. Yeah.
And then Darius Slayton, Dante Pettis, who knows what he'll give you. Sterling Sharp. I'm sorry, Sterling
Shepard.
Sterling Shepard. I always do with Sterling Sharp's name. Kenny Galladay, and then a speedster in John Ross III. I haven't had the inner workings of their offensive line. I don't think it's a great offensive line. It's it should be serviceable serviceable at least a minute. I don't know if they're bottom 5. I'm not where they are with offensive line, but just looking at the weapons, if he doesn't have a good year, it's going to be kind of on the QB and the OC here, because it just seems like, and Jason Garrett's the OC, so we all know how that goes, the clapper. What are your thoughts about Daniel Jones and his kind of a prove it year for him with the Giants?
Yeah, this is it for Daniel Jones. They went out and got Kenny Galladay. They brought in John Ross. I'm not a Daniel Jones guy. The decision making is just not there for me. He panics. A lot of bad decisions, a lot of turnovers. Like, there's glimpses in there, but you're not going to win with him consistently. I think they're going to be looking for a new quarterback next year. I don't like this offensive line. Andrew Thomas struggled early, played better in the second half of the year. But then you have a second-year player in Shane Lemieux that was just okay. I don't know who Nick Gates is, the center. Matt Pearl, another second-year guy. They have 3 second-year guys starting on this offensive line. So I think that the teams are going to give them problems. Luckily for them, Washington's the only team in the division that actually has a defense.
Yeah, exactly.
So they'll be okay against the Eagles and the Cowboys, but I think they're going to struggle outside the division. John Ross, I didn't even know he was still in the league. Like, when's the last time he actually caught a ball, let alone? But I do like those other three guys. If you line up Slayton, Galladay,
Oh,
and Shepard, I mean, those guys are okay. Evan Ingram has the drops. I'm not an Evan Ingram guy. But Kyle
get,
Rudolph should give him a red zone guy at least.
yeah. Yeah, give me that wide receiver corner in Las Vegas. That's a pretty good one. I
Yeah,
could,
I'm glancing at my notes
yeah,
for hate.
I could deal with those guys.
For hate on the Giants, I have quarterback, offensive line, and who's playing cornerback on this team.
Yeah,
I think they brought in Adoree Jackson. Is he there? I think he came over.
well, they
So
do
have
have
Bradbury and Jackson.
well in defense of their secondary. I'm not a Dory Jackson guy at all, but I do. But James Bradbury did have a really good year last year.
Yeah,
So
yeah, he's all right.
So maybe that'll help. Logan Ryan's gonna be playing safety with Jabril Peppers. So we'll see what happens in the secondary. And they also picked up Xavier McKinney. So we'll see what happens there. I do like the line. I think Dexter Lawrence has been Dexter Lawrence along with Leonard Williams have been pretty good guys on that defensive line. And Blake Martinez is a tackling machine. He was in Green Bay and now he's with the Giants as well doing that. So I don't see how. I think it's a 6-7 game. I think it's a 6 or 7 game win team. I think they might give you flashes to think, oh yeah, the G-men. But like I don't really quote. I don't 100% see them really making big time moves here as far as. And then I like the head coach too. Like if they had a quarterback, I think Joe Judge is going to be a guy who we talk about in the future. I just don't know why these guys go out there and just get these suspect offense. You got to score points. You got to get somebody who can. Why would you get Jason Garrett? Like I don't understand what I mean. Why would you? It makes no sense to me. Why you would pick him to be your offensive coordinator? As far as quarterback development, as far as scoring points, I just don't get it.
No, I agree with you. I just don't see the fit there. Like I said, I believe this is the last year we're going to see Daniel Jones in New York. I just don't buy him. I would take the under. If it was like 6.5 and you're in Vegas, take the under. I think they're going 5-12, 4-13, something like that. I do think they're going to stop the run. I do like, Lawrence, Danny Shelton came over, and then having Leonard Williams. Those three up front are going to stop the run, and Blake Martinez. I just think if you catch them in that base defense with those three down linemen, then you just play action to throw the ball behind the linebacker. So they're going to have some issues with their personnel because they have a lot of guys that are one-dimensional on that defense. And like I said, but in that division, they're clearly behind the Redskins and the Cowboys, in my opinion. And depending on Jalen Hurts, they might be behind the Eagles.
Yeah, as far as that, I totally agree with that one. Like last one would be the team that we just hate. There's no love here. Come on, Broncos. Let's get out of here with this goddamn thing. Let's tell the truth. Damn, orange and blue. I see him won like two rings since it's gross. It's throwing me. I want to throw up. So this is the thing where like I feel like if they're gonna show flashes where they're gonna show flashes against like teams like us, teams like in the division, they might show flashes in their schedule, but I think at the end of the day, this team is gonna like, especially if Fields does anything and plays well and plays to a higher level. I mean, like this was the perfect team for Fields to actually go to. like every day. I mean, you could have started him from day one, right? On this team with these running backs, with Cortland Sutton and Hamler and Patrick, Jerry Jeudy. Like this was like a perfect spot. Not to mention Noah Fant, who has been, if he's a quarterback away from being a guy who everybody talks about as being one of the next tight ends, right? It could be possible for him, and especially with what they have on defense. But I don't trust this. I think the thing that brings them down is the quarterback. I don't trust this coordinator, Pat Shurmur. I'm not big on him either. I'm not. People always hire relationship guys instead of actually hiring really good offensive minds. I think they should take a book from what Vrabel has done. Vrabel didn't even know didn't even know LaFleur when he hired him. Yeah, but he hired him, and their offense did a great job. And then so as far as that goes, and Fangio Is Fangio a head coach? I mean, that's like one of the biggest things. And this also could be Fangio's last rodeo, if you will, with the Broncos as well. And I think this is going to be the last year you see Fangio. I think last year you're going to see Drew Lock on the Broncos going forward.
No, I agree. It comes down to the quarterback, and I'm looking at the calendar on my computer. It says 2021, and then I realized their head coach is Vic Fangio and their coordinator is Pat Shermer, and it immediately takes me back to like 1991.
Yeah.
We could talk about all these weapons. Do you trust both of those guys to open up this offense and let these guys get after it on the outside? I don't. I don't think they trust either one of these guys. Even if Teddy Bridgewater wins the job, it's going to be 3 and 4 yard passes. Like Teddy Bridgewater, no matter what the offense is not throwing the ball down the field. So they're wasting Courtland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Noah Fant, Javonte Williams, Melvin Booker. Like they have serious weapons.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really trust the offensive line. I don't like Cushenberry. Glass now underperformed as a free agent. I don't like Bobby Massey, who they brought in from Chicago. Do we trust Garrett Bowles? He played well last year, but the first 3 years of his career, he wasn't very good.
Yep.
So they don't have any depth on that offensive line. So that there is going to be some issues there. And Drew Lock is, we just talked about Daniel Jones making poor decisions. Drew Lock's right there. He's in the same bucket with those two, and then you can throw Carson Wentz in that bucket too.
I feel like this could be one of those teams where like you just have fights in the locker room, like fist fights in the locker room, because the defense literally gives up 13 points, but on their own. But then they get put in situations where the ball gets turned over on the 20 or on the 15-yard line or near the goal line, if you will. Like I'm happy they did it. Like Patrick Surtain might turn out to be Charles Woodson. I really don't know. But even if he is Charles Woodson, it's not going to matter because Charles Woodson had to go to Green Bay to get a quarterback, right? I mean, you know what I mean? Like you have to have a quarterback to take it to the next level. And in a division, like I don't care how you feel about Carr. We all know how people feel about Herbert and feel about Mahomes. They clearly, it's not even close. They are a distant fourth. Yeah. In the quarterback rankings. I mean, they might be position rankings, certain like rooms, like defensive line, whatever. And then they have, I don't know. I don't want to categorize them as a mess but I just feel like they had an opportunity to really make a quality decision, and for whatever reason, maybe they think they're getting there, and maybe they think they're getting Aaron Rodgers. I don't know, but this made no sense to not take a quarterback when they had an opportunity to do it. If they took Mac Jones, it'd have been better than doing this.
I agree, and I think this is Fangio's last year because I don't think this is a playoff team with those guys taking snaps. And I just don't trust Fangio. Like when push comes to shove and he needs to win games, he's going to rely on that defense. They're going to be ultra conservative.
Kick field goals.
He's going to tell Pat Shermer to kick field goals, run the football. Don't turn it over, which is why I think Teddy Bridgewater, if he doesn't start week 1, I think he's the quarterback by week 4 or 5 because Fangio's going to do whatever he can to try to win with that defense. And he just might win enough to be in contention because that secondary is really good. And they have 2 elite pass rushers. I don't really like the inside linebackers on that defense, but and they drafted all those safeties. Like, what are they going to do with Jamar Johnson and Caden Stearns and Kareem Jackson and Justin Simmons? Like, what kind of nickel and dime packages are they going to throw at guys? I mean, they have a bunch of guys who can run around and are athletic at the safety position. But I don't trust Sherman. I don't trust Fangio. And I don't trust the quarterback. And I think they're clearly the 4th best team in the division. So
I would say this. I would say this. Like when you are describing a part of your football team, you can't describe a part of your football team and say, okay, but just don't make mistakes. Like you can't, it does not work. It doesn't work. Hey, just you're going up to the plate, just don't strike out. Hey, if you do anything else, please just don't strike out. Like you can't like no offense is like, you cannot just don't give a big play. Like, I mean, you have to be, football is about being aggressive and scoring points. And you have 3 quarterbacks in this division who I think, I mean, the Raiders were top 10 scoring last year. The Chiefs are always there. I'm not sure where the Chargers were, but the Chargers were probably right behind the Raiders as far as points per game with Herbert. So, like, I mean, even with, and the rules are just made to stop the cornerbacks from doing anything. You touch a player past 4 or 5 yards. I mean, you mentioned the middle linebacking part of it. Like, do they have somebody who can stop Kelsey? Do they have somebody who can stop stop Waller? Two of the top three tight ends are in your division. Like, did you attack that part of that part of the situation? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I never ran a football team, but I know I got to get me a quarterback, and Drew Lock getting a quarterback.
No, this team's going to struggle. I think they could still figure out how to win 6 or 7 games just because of the defense is that good.
Yeah.
But I just don't think they're going to compete for a playoff spot. And like I said, I think when the losses start piling up, they're going to be even more conservative because of just the nature of those two coaches.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. So we got through a whole lot in this episode. I mean, this is fantastic. It was really cool. I did want to say a rest in peace to Greg Knapp. I thought that's pretty sad. They did show a picture of him. He almost looked like Al Davis in this picture, but he was wearing all Niner stuff. It was a picture of him where he was with Steve Young. And Steve Young was throwing some passes in the background, but he gave his life to football, and unfortunately, he lost his life recently. So riding his bicycle up there in Northern California, kind of sad to see that. Anything you want to say in passing before we head out?
Yeah, I didn't see that he officially passed away. I know that he was in critical condition, but I haven't been around my phone a lot today.
I believe I'm gonna double check NFL.com, but I'm pretty positive that I think I saw them do the years on his.
Yeah, the family put out a statement too that didn't read too well. I haven't seen anything today, but yeah, I mean, former Raiders coach.
Yeah, he died. He did die.
Okay. Yeah, just it's tough when you see stuff like, especially a guy in the off season is just out riding his bicycle, gets hit by a car. So
yeah, that's horrible.
You hate to see that, and I just think I'm getting excited now. We're 5 days away from training camp opening. Start to see these players get in the building. Hopefully the Raiders get those 2 third-round picks under contract in the next couple of days, and they're there. I'm waiting for the Raiders to send me an email to say, hey, we're opening up training camp for these 5 or 6 days so I can make my plans to go to Vegas. I went into that stadium for a concert on July 10th, and it's beautiful. It's an amazing stadium, and I can't wait to see 65,000 fans in there.
Who'd you go see?
My wife and I had Garth Brooks tickets because she's a huge country music fan. So we bought them. It was like the first event they announced. We got them a year and a half ago, and they just kept moving it back. I will say my favorite feature of the stadium is you can refill your own sodas. Like, I'm a big Diet Coke drinker. And they had you just pay $3 for a drink and you can refill it as much as you want. So, going to these stadiums and having to pay $7-8 for a drink and get a couple of them, then you're in trouble. But I thought it's well laid out. There's great sight lines all throughout the stadium. Oh, cool. It's beautiful when you go in there. Like, as a Raider fan, all I know is the LA Coliseum and the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, which might be 2 of the worst facilities in North America. Ever. And then seeing that, it was worth everything. That I know they're not in Oakland anymore, they're not in California, but when Raider fans go in that stadium, they'll understand. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it should be fun to watch. I did want to shout out too, and I'm going to try to track him down this weekend too, because Corey Littleton is having a camp on Saturday out here in San Diego. He's a San Diego native, so we'll see if I can run him down. I probably can't catch him because he's a little faster.
Yeah, a little bit.
Those dreads are those dreads be flying. He's one of the fastest linebackers in the league. As far as that goes, I gotta keep it real. As far as the last note I want to say is Brandon Parker, current Raider, as one of Southern California's own, became one of the highest paid linebackers in NFL history. Brandon Parker was picked 5 positions above Fred Warner.
Yes, he was.
Fred Warner. God damn. Come on, Gruden.
They traded up for Brandon Parker.
That makes it even worse. All right. On that note, I want to thank Ryan, and I'll thank Michael Marcus Johnson for coming on. Tape don't lie. All good stuff. We'll see you next time. Peace.
All right. Take care.
Yep.